I think you're likely to find this next story either absolutely disgusting or hilarious, depending on whether your instinct is to laugh or cry in these horrible situations. There's this guy named Rich Lowry. Rich Lowry is widely considered to be one of the smart conservatives by some. Okay, but there's a contingent that says this is one of the smart conservatives. He's an alternative to cartoonish right wingers like the Fox News people and Stephen Miller and whatever. Rich Lowry is the editor of the National Review. It's a sort of establishment right-wing publication. And Rich tweeted yesterday, and this is when I realized satire was dead for the right. Like the right doesn't understand satire. Rich Lowry tweeted, Trump rightfully slamming the just the flu argument at this briefing, referring to Trump yesterday saying during his press briefing, this is not the flu, this is vicious. This was Trump's own lie. Rich Lowry is praising Trump for slamming the lie that Trump propagated just a few days ago and certainly for several weeks. And it's a lie which is now repeated by millions of Trumpists who are ignoring all social distancing guidelines. Trump is the one who from the beginning was making this seemingly innocuous comparison. It's sort of like the flu. Remember, Trump tweeted on March 9th. So last year, 37,000 Americans died from the flu. It averages 27 to 70,000 per year. Nothing is shut down. Life and the economy go on. We've got 546 confirmed cases of the virus with 22 deaths. Think about that. Here is video of Trump saying this could be called a flu just 4 days ago. This was not in February. This was 4 days ago.
Pandemic by this disease. Whatever they want to call it. You can call it a germ, you can call it a flu, you can call it a virus. You can call it many different names. I'm not sure anybody even knows what it is.
Here's Trump talking about it like the flu for weeks.
Started washing my hands. So you have to do that. This is, I really think, Doctor, you want to treat this like you treat the flu, right? And, it's going to be.
Anyway, you all know this. I don't have to play 10 clips of it, but it's Trump who kept inserting into the narrative flu, flu, flu. And here is Trump yesterday saying, hey, guys, this is not the flu. This is vicious.
People with great, actually, common sense, they said, why don't we write it out? A lot of people have said, a lot of people have thought about it. Write it out. Don't do anything. Just write it out and think of it as the flu. But it's not the flu. It's vicious.
And then in comes Rich Lowry and again says Trump rightfully slamming the just the flu argument at this briefing. This is like praising someone for putting out a fire that they deliberately started. This is like punching someone in the face and saying, I didn't punch you twice, you've got to give me some credit for not having punched you a second time. This guy is a supposed smart conservative. Have fun with that one. So I think what we have to realize here is when we point this stuff out, here's the important message. Okay. A lot of people, when they first hear it's like the flu, or they hear Fox News say the airports are empty, this is a great time to be flying, or they hear Devin Nunes, Republican congressman from California, say this is a great time to go to restaurants because the restaurants are wide open. You'll very easily be able to find a seat. When we hear all that stuff and then it gets worse and the guidelines change, there are a lot of people who do a sort of pick your, it's like a choose your own adventure. Pick whichever position you like. Trump has now said 20, 30 times, it's sort of like the flu in different ways. It's a flu. We don't shut down for the flu, whatever. Yesterday, he says, this is not the flu. This is vicious. Millions of Americans are continuing to sort of rely upon the 20 or 30 times Trump said it is like the flu in some way, shape, or form to continue not social distancing, to continue going out there, congregating in large groups. I know that, here in Massachusetts, we are now halfway through week 3 of doing this. People are taking it seriously. Almost everything's closed. Nobody's going to school. The streets are widely empty. People at grocery stores are being very, very careful. There are still states at this point that are barely doing anything. And I know that there are people in red states who listen to the show who write to me and say, David, even though our state hasn't done anything, within my city, we have done stuff. The mayor, that's great. Okay, that's fantastic. But there are millions and millions of people. It's estimated to be 25% of the total population or more, right? We're talking about 85 million people. We have 340 million people in this country. 25% would be about 85 million people who are still not doing any kind of social distancing. And this is the sort of reason why. So we've got to be much more vigilant about it. We're fighting. You know, Trump wants to consider himself a wartime president when it comes to fighting the virus. I don't know whether that's the right language to be using, but a real battle that is being fought is the battle against disinformation, which is just spreading virally from the right. And we're going to continue following it and fighting it as best we can. If you ever feel like you just don't have enough time to read all the books you want to read, you have to check out one of my favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist takes thousands of popular nonfiction books and distills each one down into an ebook or audiobook that you can get through in just 15 minutes, where you're getting all the key takeaways from the book. Just imagine how you'll be able to expand your horizons and knowledge by being able to soak up all of the important insights from 10 different books in an afternoon. Obviously, it's perfect for exposing yourself to a new book you otherwise wouldn't have time for, or you can use it to revisit a book you've already read, or use it to preview a book before you buy the full version and read it. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way. And it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.